in about 20 minutes.
Most Wanted was up next and requires you to gain a $1,000 bounty and then stay alive for 10 minutes. According to PSN profiles, this trophy is pretty much impossible with how the AI responds and how you can just straight up lose your bounty due to the bugginess of the servers. So, to avoid all those situations from hurting my chance at the trophy, the other alternative is to gain a $1,000 bounty and exit into the outfit fitter, where for some reason you become invincible and retain the bounty, eventually earning the trophy extremely easily. With most of the multiplayer trophies now out of the way, we could head to the hideouts for 2 trophies. The first one being called Slow of the Draw, requiring you to get 10 assists in a single hideout. And the second one being called Have Gun Will Travel, for completing all hideouts in a single session. To get 10 assists for the trophy, the quickest and most efficient way is to have another player call in their horse, allowing you to shoot 2 bullets into the horse's body. This puts the horse on low health, and after the other player shoots it once more, it'll die and you get credited for the assist. This worked extremely well, and for some reason, their bodies wouldn't despawn, so after we both earned the trophies, the area looked more like a graveyard than a hideout. With the assists out of the way, there are 7 hideouts to complete while we stayed in the same session. This sounds way harder than it actually is, with the most difficult one in my opinion being Gaptooth Breach, just because you need to survive while pushing this cart out of the mine and up a massive hill. There is also a PS3 exclusive hideout called Solomon's Folly, which I'm not 100% sure is required for the trophy, but we ended up completing it anyways. Once all 7 hideouts have been completed, the trophy popped and we can move on to the next one. Hit the Trail is a pretty unique and rather simple one to obtain. All you have to do is start off in Blackwater and travel to Escalera on the other side of the map within 12 hours. The catch though is that it needs to be done from 6 AM to 6 PM, and if you die, you have to restart from the beginning. Now, 12 hours sounds like a lot of time, but when you convert that into normal time, it turns out that 12 hours in-game is only 24 minutes in real life. This meant that dying more than once throughout this entire trip would most likely invalidate my run, and I'd have to wait an entire hour to attempt this one again, so I couldn't mess this up. I found the lobby with barely any people in it, just to up my chances of earning this trophy, and set off at 6 AM sharp towards Escalera. And to my surprise, we reached Escalera in 6 minutes, making it not only faster than I thought it was going to be, but probably one of the easiest trophies I had attempted this far. The final and probably most dreaded trophy of the multiplayer section is called How the West Was Won, or in other words, reach the highest rank in the game, level 50. When I started out this platinum, I was ready to grind my way up the ranks legit and earn this trophy the way it was intended. But upon a bit of research in my own time, it seems that doing this trophy legit is pretty much a waste of time now, because they stopped doing triple XP weekends years ago, and on top of this, actually patched the game at one point to decrease the amount of XP earned overall. So, the best and probably only way I was going to grab this trophy was to do the LAN method. This method deletes all updates on your game and reverts it back to its original state. This meant that upon entering the LAN game, I could farm Solomon's Folly and get anywhere from 1.5 to 2000 XP every 3 or so minutes. To put this into perspective, to reach level 50, you need to earn 337,110 XP. And even though this was significantly faster than any other method on the game, it still took an extremely long time. Of course, I'm not going to put you through the absolute pain I went through to get this trophy, but after almost 12 hours of non-stop repeating the same 3-minute mission, I finally earned the last and most tedious trophy of the multiplayer section. So, stage 3 is to 100% the game to unlock the trophy redeemed. This is by far the longest and most draining trophy of the entire game, and took the most amount of time to earn because of how much post-game content there actually is. We have to purchase 5 rare weapons, unlock 9 outfits, complete 5 jobs, 8 gang hideouts, 20 bounties, stranger missions, and 6 minigames, purchase 13 homes, discover all 94 areas in the game, and finally, complete 4 challenges. Yeah, this trophy was going to take a while. I started off by attempting to complete the 6 minigames. These minigames are surprisingly really fun and don't feel repetitive at all. The first one I went for was called Horseshoes, and while winning this game, I decided to try my luck at hitting the ringer in the middle, eventually popping a trophy. I then destroyed 3 enemies back to back on 5-finger fillet before trying my luck at the minigame Liar's Dice. This minigame stuck out to me as probably the best one out of the 6, and the whole aim of the game is to guess how many faces of a dice are on the table at one given time. For example, if I had 2 5s in my stack, I would vote for only 2 5s to be on the table at that time. However, Once the bid gets too high and you can no longer safely say what numbers are left, you have to bluff your way through and hope the AI doesn't catch you out, otherwise you lose a dice, and the first person to lose all their die loses. After a few tries, I managed to bluff my way through this entire match, keeping all my die and popping the trophy no dice. Then, we can win a game of arm wrestling and a game of blackjack before crossing all 6 minigames off the list because we won a game of poker in the story. I decided to tackle the outfits next, and there were 7 of them to collect because I unlocked 2 during the story. I won't go through every single one because trust me, this took hours upon hours of repetitive grinding, but I will show you the US Army outfit so you can get an understanding as to how boring.
Financial. That feeling you get when you're on budget and on cloud nine.
Let
financial become your everyday state of mind.
Of a task these really were. To unlock each outfit, there are 6 pieces of scrap that have to be collected before piecing it all together to create the outfit. The scraps are earned by doing a bunch of different tasks. For example, the US Army outfit requires you to find a scrap in a specified location, win an arm wrestle at the camp, win a game of poker in Blackwater, complete an entire stranger mission, which by the way are a whole issue on their own that I'll get to soon, complete a night watch in Blackwater, and finally, purchase the last piece of scrap from the tailor in Blackwater to unlock the outfit. I really can't stress enough how much time and effort went into collecting each and every scrap for all 9 outfits, and I think this is probably one of the more lengthier tasks of this 100% challenge. But to stop you guys from feeling the same pain I went through, here is me unlocking every outfit. Because unlocking the outfits spread across multiple hours, I also earned a very generous amount of trophies for all my hard work. That study requires you to tie up a woman and put her on the train tracks to meet her fate.
What the?
I captured a bounty alive for one of the suit challenges. And then I went ahead and cleared out every hideout for a numerous amount of suits, earning me a total of 3 trophies for all the suffering I went through. It was also at one of these hideouts that I earned the trophy for headshotting an enemy in expert mode. This mode removes the auto-lock feature when aiming in and is extremely easy to obtain when using Deadeye. I actually managed to cross off another task for the 100% as well by purchasing all 5 legendary weapons. These usually cost upwards of $1,000 when you first start the game, but with most of the missions giving you fame points, after a certain while you seem to become so popular that the shops end up giving you a 50% discount. This allowed me to easily afford all the legendary weapons required for the trophy. Before I could move any further into the 100% run, I decided to earn some money, to not only gain the trophy More Than Fistful for accumulating over 10k, but to also have enough money to purchase 13 houses around the map. The quickest way to earn money in my own experience is to play Liar's Dice in a specific stranger mission. This version of Liar's Dice would pay out anywhere from $600 to $800 each time, and was pretty much guaranteed money because I was really good at it. Unfortunately, I completed this mission ages ago, and with no way to replay these stranger missions, my only other alternative was to gamble my life savings away at the high stakes poker in Blackwater. So I put on my best suit and headed to the table to get rich quick. And to be honest, this went surprisingly well. The entry fee was $250, but after winning all the money on the table, it was pretty easy to walk away with $1,250 instead. Repeat this a few times over, and the trophy for accumulating 10k popped way easier than I expected. And with our newly found riches, we could go ahead and purchase every single property on the map with no issues. This surprisingly doesn't pop a trophy, but you can see in the stats menu that I now have 13 properties to my name. These stats also let me know that I was missing one more job in order to knock the 5 jobs off the list. And in case you're wondering, the other 4 jobs have been completed when I was going for the outfits and consisted of horse breaking and night watching. Night watching is my preferred job, as these consisted of following the sheriff's dog until it stumbled across a crime being committed, allowing us to capture the enemy for the sheriff. The job that I had left though was to do horse breaking in Ridgewood Farm, which really wasn't too hard at all, and crossed this task off the list. The easiest task to attempt next was discovering 94 locations. There is a really simple way to achieve this, as you can purchase maps from sellers in most locations, and after redeeming every one, every location is automatically discovered, popping the trophy super easily. few remaining tasks left for the 100% were extremely grindy, and I mean genuinely the worst so far. So I will show a basic summary of the tasks at hand and skip over the majority of the grind to save you all some time. At first was to complete 20 bounties. These bounties are split up into the 3 sections around the map. There are 4 bounties required in Blackwater, 8 required in New Austin, and 8 more required in Mexico. These bounties were relatively simple in practice. Accept the bounty, arrive at said location, and eliminate every single one of the enemies before picking up the target's dead body and taking it back to the sheriff. The issue is, however, these bounties were not available to consistently accept. This meant that for the vast majority of my time, I would be sat waiting for these bounties to spawn in, and I can't tell you how much time I wasted before realizing that you were able to skip time forward by attempting to save the game and then backing out. By doing this 4 times in a row, you are able to skip a full day ahead, respawning the bounty in a matter of seconds, rather than 40 minutes of your own time. With this amazing information, I plowed through the remaining bounties pretty easily, eventually completing the 20 I needed for the 100%. I tackled the stranger missions next, and let me tell you, these were so unnecessarily dragged out. I can only assume they're meant to be done as and when they're unlocked, so that as you're playing through the story, you can also be attempting these stranger missions too. But because I left it all to the end, I got pretty unlucky with the experience. The main issue with these stranger missions is that you'll start one, complete the mission thinking you're done, only for the game to ghost you and have the stranger turn up again a week later in the game, with another task for you to do contributing to the exact same mission. Some of these strangers literally do this 3 or 4 times in a row, and it truly dragged out this section for the platinum to another level. There were a few stranger missions that stood out to me though, like this one, where you need to grab a few flowers for a man's wife, only to find out that the wife has been dead for what seems like 10 years. Or the sad story of this woman who just wants to see her fiance, only to find out that he has been laid to rest in his grave already. Strangely enough, there was no trophy for completing all 18 stranger missions, but instead, you do unlock one for completing 15, which kinda made no sense to me. The last stranger mission I attempted was for helping this guy fly a makeshift glider off this cliff, and to do so, we had to collect a few resources for him, like beaver fur, feathers, and red sage, which is a type of plant in the game. While grabbing these resources, I also found the last horse needed for the trophy Bucking Awesome. This trophy requires you to tame the Kentucky Saddler, which we managed to do at the start of the game, the Hungarian Half-Bred, which is the white horse I am on right now, and last but not least, the American Standard Bred, which is this horse right here. After collecting a bunch of materials for this guy, he uses them to make his glider, and after all my hard work, this is what happens.
Into the wild blue yonder, Marston! Oh dear.
With the last stranger mission complete, only one more task remained. 4 dreaded challenges. I think, along with the outfits and the stranger missions, this has to be up there as the worst part of this 100% run. We will start with, in my opinion, the worst challenge out of the 4, Survivalist. For this one, you have to collect an array of flowers in order to progress onto the next level. For example, level 1 would need 6 types of a certain flower, and by level 10, you are collecting 10 types of one flower, followed by 2 types of every other flower in the game. This was an extremely grindy process, but I did eventually reach level 10, which to my surprise, unlocked the trophy Frontiersman. The treasure hunter trophy was up next. All you have to do is go around the map, collecting hidden treasure in certain locations. Collect 1 treasure, and the challenge will level up straight away. So it was simply a case of collecting all 10 hidden treasures to hit level 10 and clear this one off the list. With only 2 more challenges left, the next one to hit level 10 was called Sharpshooter. This challenge requires you to eliminate animals doing certain tasks. For example, my favorite task was to shoot 5 birds on a moving train, and eliminate 3 bears with 1-shot kills. Safe to say, this one was quite a long one to complete, but even so, I really enjoyed the uniqueness compared to the other ones. The last challenge left of the entire 100% run was called Master Hunter. This is a series of challenges revolving around eliminating animals in certain numbers, and probably took the longest amount of time just due to the fact that most animals wouldn't even spawn in half the time. For example, rank 4 had me searching for 3 armadillos in order to pass on to the next level, and I approached the spot where they're supposed to spawn before wandering around for a solid 20 minutes in day and night time without a single one spawning. I did eventually get lucky enough to find them all, but this was the reality of every level moving forward. However, it was feeling more and more worth it as that percentage slowly creeped up to 100%. After knifing a few coyotes and a few cougars, we could head to the final level of the challenge, which is to kill 3 legendary animals. There was a legendary wolf called Lobo, the legendary boar called Gordo, And last but not least, after hours and hours of grinding towards that 100% goal, the final legendary animal, Brumus the bear. Most time-consuming and hardest trophy finally left in the past, there was only 10 trophies left to collect, or 11 if you include the platinum. The first order of business: reach max fame and honor for the trophy Man of Honor / Chivalry's Dead. I'd already been at max honor for a decent portion of the game, but for some reason the fame was never able to catch up and lagged significantly behind. The easiest way to gain the fame that I was missing was to chuck on the elegant suit, making it possible to cheat in poker. Then we can purposely get caught cheating, leading to a duel in which I can shoot the gun out of the guy's hand instead of killing him, sparing his life and earning a massive bonus of 200 fame. Because this method was so easily repeated, it really didn't take that long until I was able to reach max fame. Gold medal was up next and requires you to complete a mission with a gold medal. The fastest and most efficient way to earn this trophy is to replay the mission Old Swindler Blues, as it only takes 2 minutes to complete, and the only thing I believe you have to do to get a gold medal is to hit every shot perfectly on all 4 enemies and make it back to Armadillo with enough time. Manifest Destiny is a trophy requiring you to eliminate every buffalo in the game. This seems crazy at first, but there are only around 20 buffaloes that spawn in the entire game, and they all spawn in one herd near Blackwater. This meant that all I had to do was find the herd, shoot each one down, and earn the trophy. But of course, it wouldn't be that simple. I shot as many as I could, but I wasn't good enough, and somehow one of them escaped my grasp. I searched for about half an hour, combing through the entirety of the Great Plains with absolutely no luck. I was almost out of options until I remembered that I saved my game before attempting this section, so I loaded up my previous save and tried again, this time making sure to eliminate every single one. With the last few trophies remaining, I plucked up the courage to finally attempt Friends in High Places, which requires you to gain a $5,000 bounty and get off with no charges with a pardon letter. The best place to attempt this is in Blackwater, as the police here continue to respawn forever. I tried a few times in this area, but each time I failed before even reaching a $1,000 bounty. There was one point where I did actually pass this threshold, but it ended pretty soon after with my horse getting silenced and having no means to escape. Multiple failed attempts later, I caved in and looked for the best solution for this trophy. It turns out, you can just camp at the doctor's shop in Armadillo and rack up a $5,000 bounty extremely easily. I was also using my pistol for this section, which earned me 500 kills with a pistol, and more importantly, the trophy in Hail of Bullets. Once I had accumulated a $5,000 bounty, there was another trophy to grab before handing in the pardon letter. Heading south on a white Bronco requires you to escape the US Marshals while riding the Hungarian half-bred. So, I waited for the US Marshals to spawn in and tried my best at escaping their capture, and after a few minutes, I left them in the dust to grab that trophy. And then, I handed in my pardon letter to get rid of that $5,000 bounty with no repercussions. Mowing them down was up next, and like I said earlier, after beating the story, I was nowhere near having 500 mounted weapon kills. This trophy is seemingly impossible without an extreme amount of farming, and I really don't understand the reasoning behind this trophy in the first place, because it can't really be earned with just the story alone. To get this done as fast as possible, I got my brother to come back into online, and we just farmed this cannon spot in El Presidio. With the enemies constantly respawning, and the cannon being able to deal such a large amount of damage, I was able to earn this trophy in about an hour and a half. We could then knock out a random NPC in every single bar around the map, eliminate and skin 18 bears, which took way longer than I expected because there really wasn't any bears spawning in until I neared the 18th kill. And to wrap everything up, eliminate every single animal in the game for the trophy Unnatural Selection. I was originally dreading this trophy because I wasn't too sure how many animals I'd eliminated during my run, but as it turned out, because I completed literally everything else in the game at this point, a duck and a seagull were the only 2 animals standing in the way of the platinum trophy. So I headed straight towards Lake Don Julio in order to find a duck and waited patiently for one to spawn in. Apparently, the ducks are meant to spawn in around on the ground and walk around the outside of the lake, but I spent a solid 20 minutes minutes looking for them with no luck. What I later found out is that they can also spawn in the sky, and that was literally all the information I needed. With the duck eliminated, we could head to Blackwater in search of the last animal of the game, the seagull. These guys only spawn in at around 6 AM, so after making my way towards the Blackwater docks at the right time, I was welcomed by a beautiful sunset and a great way to finish off this platinum trophy once and for all.
Yes!
After completing this platinum all these years later, I can safely say it was worth the wait. I really enjoyed attempting this one, and even though the 100% was a really tedious grind, I think I would do it all over again if a remaster was to ever release in the future. In regards to the PS4 port, I think it'll be worth the purchase once it eventually goes on sale. This game is amazing, but to charge so much for so little change is crazy to me, and it's arguably cheaper to go ahead and purchase your own PS3 and a copy of Red Dead Redemption to play on that. With that being said, thank you everyone who has waited patiently for this video. I really do appreciate you all, and I'll be sure to see you in the next one. Bye bye!
Oh, wait a second. Okay. I gotta check something.